So a new legend is getting added to the game this Thursday. And of course they released this little teaser to get people talking. So talk we shall. There has been so many speculations of who this new legend coming to the game would be. A lot of people are putting on their Sherlock Holmes detective glasses, doing tons of research, and instead of waiting the 2 days to figure out who it is, they're spending a lot of time trying to guess who it is. Whatever floats your boat, I guess. But today we're gonna go through, point out some of the hints in this image, talk about some possible legends that it could be, either that I think it could be or who the community thinks it could be. And come Thursday, we'll either hear on their live stream where they're gonna be talking about all the new things coming to the Nintendo Switch. Honestly, it's probably going to be a pretty boring stream. Or they could do what they did last week with Joe Mauer and Justin Morneau and just release it on Twitter the morning of. So the easy hints in this one is you can obviously tell this is a left-handed batter, or at the very least a switch hitter. So exclude any right-handed hitters that are going through your mind right now. And then really the only other guess we have is the light post out here, which a lot of people have speculated that is Kauffman Stadium because of the 4 pillars. It's really hard to see. You might be able to see it better in this image right here, but you can see that these lights have 4 pillars on them, very similar to this image right here. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really see it. I'm not a freaking detective, but I'm gonna go off what everybody else is saying. So we're gonna say that this is Kauffman Stadium. So the first legend is the man that everybody wants to see make a return back to the game, and that is Carlos Beltran. Carlos Beltran first got called up by the Royals in 1998 and won Rookie of the Year in 1999. He played 5 full seasons with them before getting traded halfway through the 2004 season. But he had some really good years with the Royals. For the 5 seasons, he had over 100 RBIs, consistently was anywhere from 22 as his lowest home run total in his Rookie of the Year campaign to 38 in 2004. And he really transcended his Hall of Fame career the second he got called up by the Royals. So it only makes sense that they showcase him in Kauffman Stadium. The only other hint that we have is the swing. He has a 2-swing follow through, and he just kind of holds it up by his head. Any swing that I have seen of Carlos Beltran, he doesn't really finish like that. He does swing with the 2-hand follow through. Anywhere from this image to this image, the follow through just feels different to me. And I'm also very curious to see. This is a company that took Kirby Puckett out of the game last year because of sexual assault allegations that he was convicted not guilty for in the 1990s. And I really think they're trying to avoid putting in those bad role models into the game. Carlos Beltran was one of the main guys in the Houston Astros cheating scandal. So it does beg a question of would they put somebody like that back in the game even though the entire community wants him to. Either way, it's one of the 4 guys that I think is at least a possibility. Next up, I think this could be Carlos Delgado. Dude, Carlos Delgado would be so sick to add to the game. This is a guy that almost had 500 career home runs, 1,500 RBIs, hit for a good average at 280, got on base at a 383 clip, and finished his 17-year career with a 929 OPS and a 138 OPS plus. Safe to say, the guy could freaking hit. Spent a majority of his career on the Blue Jays, played a year on the Marlins, and then had some really good years with the Mets to finish off his career. I mean, this guy hit 38 home runs in his age 36 season. He was consistently around 35 to 40 home runs a season, or at the very least, he was producing a ton of doubles, had some really big RBI seasons, and I mean, he was just a feared hitter, so he was getting walked constantly. And somebody mentioned on Daddy Dimu's tweet, by the way, this dude's the funniest motherfucker in the entire community, 420-01. Of course, it happens on 420, because why not? Delgado hit 3 home runs against Kansas City pitching while playing at Kauffman Stadium. And you know, you gotta go through, double check it, 420-01. He hit 3 home runs that game. And of course, it was at Kansas City, so the guy was right. So for almost any other player, you could see that's a big career highlight for them. 3 home runs in a freaking game? That does not happen all the time. The only thing is, Carlos Delgado has a 4 home run game. So I guess I'm just more so confused is if the hint is Kansas City, why are we hinting at his 3 home run game over his 4 home run game? I believe his 4 home run game was at Toronto, so maybe that would have been too easy is my thinking. But you take a look at the swing right here, and it's damn near identical to Carlos Delgado. Like, there's a couple of them with very, very similar follow-throughs. He has the 2-hand follow-through, bat by the head. I feel like this is a good example right here. Out of the 4 I'm going to show you, I think Carlos Delgado is the most likely based based off the hints that we have, but then begs the question that it really doesn't make sense. Think about the legends that we have so far. Excluding Randy Johnson, we have Ryan Howard, Joe Mauer, and Justin Morneau. You add Carlos Delgado to that group, 3 of the 4 legends that would be revealed would be first baseman primary with no other secondary positions. You're adding all those bats to already a very large group of power hitting first basemen with no secondary position. Like, don't get me wrong, I'd be happy if Carlos Delgado was in the game. And it'd make a lot more sense if they announced this card a little bit later so we don't just stack up on a bunch of first basemen. This would make sense though if a DH is implemented into the game. I don't think it's going to be this year, maybe next year, but I don't know, man. My head hurts trying to figure this out, but I think Carlos Delgado is the most likely outcome. Next guy I want to talk about is another first baseman because it's all that seems to make sense, is Lance Berkman of the Astros. Like Carlos Delgado, he was just a very well all-around bat with the power, the average, had a career .406 on base percentage, .943 OPS, and a .144 OPS plus. Multiple top 5 MVP finishes. Lance Berkman would be a cool add. And yeah, he'd probably be a primary first baseman, but he also did play the outfield too. Just wasn't a very good outfielder. At least in my mind, he makes more sense than Carlos Delgado. Only thing I can't figure out is this light post. If it is Kauffman Stadium, where does this make sense with Lance Berkman? Like, this shit looks nothing like the image that is in SDS's tweet. So I don't freaking know, man. But he's another guy in my mind where the swing, it at least looks somewhat similar. I think Carlos Delgado more aligns with what is shown in that picture, but Lance Berkman isn't too far behind. But I do think it is slightly off. But if it is Lance Berkman, that'd be pretty cool. A switch hitting guy that can play first base or the outfield, it at least gives you some versatility, and you don't have to worry about him going against righties or lefties because he'll hit both at least decently well. And the last guy I want to talk about is the least likely guy in my mind that I think it could be. I've seen a few people talk about him, so I figured I'd throw it out here, and that's Kirk Gibson. Kirk Gibson is most known for hitting a home run in the playoffs hurt and then pump fisting around the bases. Epic moment in MLB history. And I guess the thing that does make sense is he did start his career with the Tigers, and if this is Kauffman Stadium, obviously the Tigers and the Royals are in the same division. And I think SDS likes to keep us guessing, because obviously his most iconic moment in his career had nothing to do with Kansas City. It had to do when he was on the Dodgers in the playoffs. Same with Carlos Beltran hitting 4 home runs in a game instead of 3. But the swing does look very similar to what is being shown with the 2-hand follow through. He kind of holds the bat and behind his head on the follow through. Now, no, I don't think it's going to be him. I think the most likely outcome is going to be Carlos Delgado or Lance Berkman. I think Carlos Beltran would be the most hyped and most appreciated by the community, and Kirk Gibson would be just kind of random. At least with the first 3 legends that have been shown, and you can even include Randy Johnson in this as well. A lot of their success came between that 2000 to 2010 era. Beltran, Delgado, and Berkman all fit that mold. Kirk Gibson does not. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. We will find out Thursday, either in a tweet at like 8 a.m. Central Standard Time is when they usually tweet things out, or we will find it out on the end of the live stream on Thursday, which is going to be all about the Nintendo Switch. Like I said, probably going to be a pretty boring stream. So if you do miss it, don't worry, I'll put out a video covering everything you need to know. But be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.